Hello everyone, Dave here with some thoughts on another knife for you guys. Tonight we're going to take a look at the Emerson CQC8. This is actually out by request from Benjamin W11. He wanted to hear a little bit more about the knife, so I'm going to try and cover some points maybe you've heard before, maybe some you haven't. There are a number of great reviews out there on the CQC8 already, so definitely would definitely recommend you guys check those out as well, and I'll try to speak to some stuff that maybe wasn't addressed in those, or maybe was just covered over slightly. I'll probably be hitting some points that you guys have heard before, so take from it what you can, and hope you enjoy. So let's get right into it. As usual, I'll be posting the specifications in the description area, so you can check those out. Some of the highlights, as with all Emersons: G10 scales, 154 cm blade, titanium liners. Okay. Pocket clip is non-reversible and only on one side. Tip up carry, right hand side. Okay, as you can see, lanyard hole there, great. Okay, the CQC8, well, as you guys know or probably have experienced, there's certain knives in your collection that you will basically become your go-to knife. They become knives that you're so familiar with that you know how they perform, you know what they can do, and when you need to do something, you reach for that particular knife. CQC8 is basically that type of knife for me. It's a go-to knife. Been really happy with the performance of it so far. You can take a look there on the blade. That black coating has held up really well, probably better than I expected it to. It does show a little bit of wear, but given for the type of task that it's done, I'm really impressed. So, very little wear, a few chips here and there, but overall excellent performing. As you guys can see, the handle offers a very deep index finger choil there, so for the type of grip you recess deep into the blade, gives you a lot of purchase, a lot of control over it, very good on the handling. Solidly built, as you would expect from all Emersons. Tolerances are great. As I mentioned sort of in the Horseman video, the pivot screw here can become a little loose over time, so a little bit of Loctite or just a little bit of care and attention to keep that guy tightened is definitely worth it. Liner locks, this particular one, it's worn in rather well. As of now, it's locking in about halfway into the blade. Really happy with that. Solid purchase. Just snaps in every time. G10 backspacer, very cool. And the thumb disc opening. Okay, those are the basics of it. What I sort of wanted to get into was the blade design, and I think this is really cool. I'm a very big fan of this particular banana shaped design, if you will. They recently came out with the CQC8, the Super CQC8, which one guy in the forums referred to as a pocket saber, and it's very apt to that. As you guys know, the saber, the Western saber, was essentially designed for cavalry use. The shape basically being designed so that as the cavalry soldier was going past an object and went through it, the knife, or the sword rather, was designed in such a way that it slid through so that it wouldn't get stuck as part of its target as when it was being used. It was a very thin blade. It wasn't very a heavy blade. It was meant usually from use from the back of a horse. So European sabers, Middle Eastern scimitars, Chinese broadswords, same type of idea. The idea was pretty much a slicing pattern that allowed the curvature of the blade to pass through and continue on its sweep as it went through its cutting object. So you can sort of see here, that's sort of, I think, where Emerson was coming from on this. It is a very narrow blade, not very wide at all, pretty long, coming in a little under 4 inches, so you guys can check that out. But the curvature of it, straight, and then it holds for a while and then angles up very rapidly into that point. It's also been reinforced up at the top. You can see there how basically the bevel up top allows it to reform, if you will, or basically cause the tip near the tip to become pretty much thick again, almost to the stock shape right near the tip, which basically reinforces it and provides that structural integrity essentially throughout the entire cutting surface. So you can sort of see there, not much ground out at the top, and again it just widens back out. You can sort of see here in the profile how it's almost a diamond shape. So, it does recess for a bit, does go in, but then it flares back out. So, essentially, long story short, what that gives you is a very strong blade that basically keeps its structure throughout the entire cutting area of it. Because it's such a thin or narrow blade, you have it provides a lot of I would say piercing or straight thrust type maneuvering. It's very good at that. Very easy to maneuver, very easy to handle given its size. It's a very long knife overall. I think coming in close to 9 inches or so. But it doesn't feel like that in the hand. The ergonomics are such that it's very easy to use. Okay. I spoke about it in the Horseman video, but you can see here, typical V-grind, this bevel going down to the edge. The backside, it features this Emerson chisel grind, they call it. I refer to it as sort of a bevel or a chiseled bevel in the sense that it is angled on this side, but on this edge, it's essentially flat, so it keeps that. Overall, great knife. Let me just bring out a couple others for the comparison. I'll sort of show you what I mean. Saw Aegis, much thicker, broader blade. And you can see here the type, it's obviously a different type of blade shape, but the Aegis begins that curvature very early in it. Definitely a different type of pattern. With the flat grind as well, that blade gets very narrow very quickly. The Emerson basically keeps its shape up until literally, it doesn't begin the grind until nearly halfway through. So it's overall keeping its much thicker stock throughout the shape. Another one off the top of my head, wanted to show you, Benchmade Mini Ruckus. You guys can check out the video on that guy. Again, a very solid, thick blade, but what you're seeing here, again, is essentially with the flat grind, it gets to be very thin very quickly. So different type of use. The Emerson blade, again, just stays thick through so much of it. It's definitely, I dare say, a stronger, harder use type of knife. So you can sort of see the thickness is there. I do like the narrowness of the Mini Ruckus. Again, that handle, it's great. Same thing here on the Emerson CQC8. It's a very narrow handle, so it allows for a very good type of purchase. One other that I thought was pretty similar, the SOG Mini Vulcan. I think the Vulcan would have been a better comparison, but unfortunately don't have that one. You can see the blade shape though. This is what I sort of want to get at. Very similar in design. Okay, the SOG does feature a hollow grind instead of basically a conventional flat V grind, but again, very thick blade, and again, it basically keeps that stock shape up to the tip. It doesn't flare out again like the Emerson does, but again, very nice. So you can sort of see there, VG10 steel versus the 154 CM. Yeah, so that's pretty much to give you guys an idea how that compares against some other knives. But the CQC8, again, just a fabulous knife. I didn't speak too much about it. Some other guys have spoken about it more, but I think the wave opening feature is really just a phenomenal thing to have. It makes the knife so fast in its deployment. It's just something that once you get used to and you experience it, it's something you miss on any other knife. When that catches and when you draw it out, it's just so fast and so reassuring, if you will. It's just, I appreciate it on all the Emerson knives that I have. So, pretty cool. That's about it. I hope I've covered some points, been a little entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed. As usual, questions, comments, please post them. And I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.